You remember the exact moment you hit $100,000. Maybe you were sitting in your car in a parking lot, phone in hand, just staring at the number. And for a second, you couldn't believe it was real. You'd done it. After years of budgeting, sacrificing, skipping trips, eating at home, watching every dollar, you'd actually done it. And then something strange happened. Nothing felt different. You drove home, you made dinner, you went to bed, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice started whispering, if that's what $100,000 feels like, why is the next milestone going to be any different? Here's the thing. Most people at that point assume the hard part is over. They figure they've cracked the code, they've proven they can do it, and now it's just rinse and repeat. More discipline, more sacrifice, same grind, just with a bigger number at the end. But that's not what happens. What actually happens is something most personal finance channels will never show you. Because it's not about discipline, it's not about sacrifice. And honestly, it's barely even about income. My name is Samuggi, and I spend way too much time thinking about money. Not in a spreadsheet kind of way, but in a why does this work the way it does kind of way. And what I'm about to tell you genuinely changed how I look at wealth. Because once you understand what's actually happening between $100,000 and $500,000, the entire game starts to feel different. So stay with me, because this is where it gets interesting. Think about it this way. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. The first stretch, from base camp to halfway, is brutal. You're carrying all your gear. You're not used to the altitude. Every step feels like a fight. That's your journey to $100,000. But here's what nobody talks about. The second half of that same mountain, you're lighter. You know the terrain. And somewhere around the halfway point, the wind actually starts working with you instead of against you. That's the jump from $100,000 to $500,000. And the reason it feels effortless isn't because you got lucky. It's because something fundamental shifted and you probably didn't even notice it happening. Here's the weird part. Most people think wealth is built by earning more. And sure, income matters. Nobody's arguing that. But the real turning point, it's when your money stops waiting around and starts working. Think of your savings like a new employee you just hired. When you had $10,000 in the bank, that employee was lazy. They'd show up, do the bare minimum, generate maybe $300 to $400 a year in returns and go home. But at $100,000, you've got a full team now, and at an average 8 to 10% market return, that team is quietly generating $8,000 to $10,000 a year without you touching a thing, without you waking up early, without you skipping a single dinner out. That's a $10,000 contribution your investments are making automatically while you live your life. And here's where it gets wild. That number scales. At $200,000, your money is generating $16,000 to $20,000 annually. At $300,000, $24,000 to $30,000, the math gets almost offensive because you're not working harder, your money is just running. This is where most people mess up. Not by doing something wrong, but by not understanding what's suddenly going right. There's a concept in physics called terminal velocity, the point where an object is falling so fast that air resistance perfectly balances gravity and it just maintains speed effortlessly. No more acceleration needed. It sustains itself. $100,000 is your terminal velocity moment. Before that point, every dollar you saved had to be manually earned and manually disciplined into existence. You had to fight for it. Every single one. After $100,000, the compounding returns start contributing meaningfully alongside your contributions. You're no longer the only engine pulling this train. And the further you go, the more engines join. By the time you're approaching $300,000 or $400,000, your investment returns in a good year might actually exceed what you're contributing yourself. Wrap your head around that. Your money is saving more money than you are. Okay. Here's the part nobody tells you, and it's not about math, it's about how you feel. when you had nothing saved, or $5,000, or even $20,000. Every financial decision carried weight. Every unexpected bill felt like a crisis. Every opportunity to spend felt like a moral test. And that constant low-grade financial anxiety? It exhausts you. It clouds your judgment. It makes you impulsive in ways you don't even realize. But somewhere around $100,000, something quietly shifts in your psychology. You stop reacting and start deciding. That $800 car repair that used to send your heart into your throat? It's just Tuesday now. That dinner out you used to guilt trip yourself over? You evaluate it and move on. You're not reckless. You're just calm. And calm decision-making is one of the most underrated wealth-building tools in existence. Picture two people with the same salary, same job, same city. One has $5,000 saved, the other has $120,000. The second person makes better financial decisions, not because they're smarter, but because they're not scared. And not being scared changes everything. And it gets worse or better, depending on which side of this you're on. Compound interest is one of those things people understand intellectually, but don't feel until they're inside it. Let me show you the difference. Going from $0 to $100,000 at $1,000 a month and 8% average returns. That takes roughly 7 years. 7 years of consistency, discipline, and grind. Now, starting from $100,000, with the exact same $1,000 monthly contribution and the same 8% return, you hit $500,000 in approximately 12 years. But here's the part that should stop you cold. Without contributing a single dollar, just leaving $100,000 alone for 20 years at 8%, you'd still have over $460,000. The money starts doing the heavy lifting. You become, in a very real sense, optional. Honestly, it's not because they can't, it's because they stop right before the momentum kicks in. They hit $30,000, feel good, lifestyle creep quietly swallows the progress. Or they hit $60,000, the market dips, panic sells, and resets the clock. Or, and this one's painful, they hit $90,000 close to the threshold and decide they deserve something big, a new car, a vacation, a renovation. Nothing wrong with any of those things. But the timing resets the compounding clock in ways that take years to recover from. The gap between $100,000 and $500,000 isn't talent, it isn't income. It's just staying in the game long enough for the math to take over. Conclusion. So here's where I want to leave you. If you're somewhere before $100,000 right now, still grinding, still wondering if it's worth it, I want you to hear this. The difficulty you're feeling is real. It's not a sign you're doing it wrong. It's just the nature of the first climb. Every dollar feels manual because it is manual. You are the engine and only the engine right now. But there's a point coming, and it comes faster than you think, where the math starts pulling for you instead of against you. Where your money wakes up, gets dressed, and goes to work without being asked. Where compounding stops being a concept you read about and starts being a number you actually see moving in real time. And when that happens, when you're sitting there one afternoon, doing the math, and you realize your portfolio grew by more last year than you actually contributed, something shifts. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. You stop chasing the number, and the number starts chasing you.